Hey guys, welcome to the first update of the 2017 deer season. We are sitting here, it's Friday, October 6th, and I'm not hunting. A lot of you guys have been asking, how's your season going, Ty? What's going on? You know, what are you seeing moving and things like that? Well, to be honest with you, I've only been out once. I did go out Sunday, the opener, October 1st, and it was a good sit. Didn't see anything except for a young yearling buck came in behind me. He did get antsy, he did blow, and it got spooky. He blew kind of halfway blue, but then he just ran off, turned around after he got sketchy for a while. I'm not even 100% sure how long he was there behind me. When I spotted him, he stood there for another 8 to 10 minutes right on the edge of that clover plot coming down a trail. Didn't want to break cover and come out in the clover plot, just got a little uneasy, a little hesitant for whatever reason. He was downwind of me, but typically those young bucks don't have an issue with that, but he must have got a little bit of an iffy wind and took off, so didn't shock me too terribly much. It wasn't a big boy. I'm not worried about it to an extent, so that's the only day I went up the tree. It did illustrate to the fact that the food plots are doing really good while I was there. I had a groundhog come out and feed, and it was crazy how he himself was like making tunnels through the clover. It was so deep. So clover's looking really good. The chicory in spots is doing really good. I like how that plot's looking. I haven't been over to the east side of the property where all the food is in a while, but the brassicas were looking really good when I was there. It's probably been a few weeks now, dating back to middle of September probably. I think was the last time I was anywhere close to the food plots over there. So outside of that, it's been really warm, really rainy some days, and just haven't wanted to push it, if you will. So I think that's one of the things that I try to stress, and I actually had an article that I shared on Facebook again that I had written back in, I think, 2016. It may have even been 2015, but you know, a lot of the times our worst enemy in the early season can be us. I really only have one buck that's consistently showing movement this time of year. Our other properties are real buck quiet this year. It's actually the lowest and worst year on cameras, even though we have more cameras out than we ever have before. It's actually the worst year as far as buck pictures go, but I fully am comfortable with that. I acknowledge and know that we have the does that are going to move in. The homestead property, the river bottom property, both typically don't show a lot of big bucks until middle of October, until the acorns start drawing them in, then the does start drawing them in, crop rotations come out, and the plots start really getting hit. So not fearful of it there. The swamp property is atypically buck quiet. I mean, that is my big buck potential property, and it's very quiet. We have pictures of at night of one big bodied, one big racked buck. I think it's the 9 from last year. Again, I'm not fearful though, because that property, there's been new landowners to the west that have been just back there all the time. There's new landowner to the west up on the north side. But there's just been a lot of stuff going on out there. Landowner activity, landowner friends activity, family activity. It seems like somebody's walking around, riding a Kubota, four-wheeler, whatever it might be, all the time. So that really starts to die down and calm down as temps start dropping. The beans out there are turning yellow. I fully expect that the swamp property will turn on, the bucks will start showing up, the plots will start getting hit, and like every single year, that's where we have our biggest buck sightings. So just kind of waiting and biding my time. Today is one of those days where it's misting out. The rain's supposed to stop about an hour before dark. Perfect as far as that goes, but it's over 70 degrees, south winds. I really only have 1 or 2 south wind stands that I have access to at this point. Many of you are thinking, well, why aren't you hunting the bottom of that hillside that you say is the best stand you have out of all of them? Well, that one's on another landowner's property, and it is one where we try to not hunt that from October through January. We used to do that a lot, and she became she doesn't like that as much. I mean, she understands hunting, but she appreciates it when we kind of narrow that window down, so we try to keep it about a week prior to Halloween to Thanksgiving, and then we back out. She loves to be able to feed the deer, so once we're done hunting on Thanksgiving, she loves to put feed out and watch them out their bay window and things like that, and she can't do that obviously if we're hunting. So a couple other south wind stands. One's really close to the bedding or the swamp. At the swamp property, I don't feel like pushing it. Everything's not coming together right, not showing the activity. We'll do another card pull here in about the next 3 to 5 days sometime in there and we'll really let that start to show us what's going on. So really, it's kind of a quiet first week. It's become kind of normal for me. I'll probably get out Sunday for sure. I'm going to be going out in the afternoon just because I have it available. It is going to be unusually warm, so I don't know. We'll see how I feel. I may just work out, go to basketball at our church, and not go hunting, but we'll see. Saturday right now, the rain is supposed to hit right at sunset. I'm hoping that backs up an hour or two, and I'm going to actually be hitting the river bottom property. We have a lot of does coming in there, so I'm going to see what happens, and if a group of 6 or 7 come by, I may actually let an arrow fly on a doe early. But more or less, I just want to get a camera mount set up over there for a little bit later on into October, and just kind of be able to observe what's going on, get some deer on camera, and go from there. So we're still kind of in that observational period. The new 22, people have been asking, you know, about Bertier. Haven't really checked more than one cam out there, and he kind of went quiet, but it makes sense. His velvet was dropping. He could have transitioned to a different bedding. I don't think he transitioned out of the area because it's kind of a rural type setting. There's not many places he could go that would put him away from the property to the point where I don't think I have a chance at him. But to even add to it further, the other day on Sunday when I went out there and hunted, there is to the southeast a field that they harvested wheat out of it in late July, and then they must have drilled beans into it. Very small window of time. If October gets really harsh weather and cold, they may not get pod production, but the beans, you know, they're about this tall. They're very lush because they have irrigation running on them, but they're basically trying to get, you know, the soybean crop in after the harvesting of the wheat. So I didn't think they were going to plant anything, but they did, and that's kind of transitioned a lot of the pressure over there. I know if I was a buck, I'd be bedding in the creek bottom next to that field, getting up, eating whenever I want, and getting fat and preparing for the rut. So doesn't really shock me much. Once those beans start yellowing and come out, I expect the new 22 to just explode in activity. So just biding my time. You know, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and this is all part of the journey. I'm capturing all this season, and I'm going to be telling a story, kind of transition, explaining and trying to get across the concept of, you know, each season is different, and each season is amazing, and it really is all about embracing the entire journey. It's not all about the harvest. It's not all about the prep. It's the entirety of the whole thing put together and rolled into the event that we call the hunting season. So this is Ty. First week update done. God bless. Good luck out there. Wear your safety harness. That's all. God bless, guys.